Welcome to the Sensei Playbook, the ultimate how-to podcast for growing and amplifying your brand within the digital world's 3-second landscape. Join Bill Courtwright and Chris Snellgrove as they discuss the right tools and strategies for building the best online marketing strategy for your business. Tune into leading business leaders who share information and impart inspiration on providing smooth customer experience and successfully scaling your venture. This is your chance to achieve rapid growth in the highly competitive online market. Let's get this episode started with your hosts, Bill and Chris.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Sensei Playbook podcast. We're your host, Bill Courtwright and Chris Snellgrove. We are super grateful that you're with us today. We've got an outstanding episode. Today's episode is going to focus on social media mastery. How to use social media to expand your brand and grow your business. There's no one better to talk about this topic than Chris and I. This is something that we not only believe and teach to our clients and prospects. It's content that we curate on a regular basis, but we drink our own Kool-Aid. I mean, this is something that we practice every day in the office, and we've successfully been able to cascade our vision and commitment for the credibility and relatability that we exercise on social media down across our leadership team and our staff at large, as well as our vendors and strategic alliance partners and channel partnerships that we've developed. Social media has actually become an integral part of what we do here. So my first question for Chris is, Chris, what is the number one mistake that companies make on social media?
Well, we see it all the time, and that is stop selling. Constantly selling people on what you do. The opportunity within social media exists in developing the relationship with your current clients. Never before in the history of marketing has this dynamic been available. So having the ability to connect with your core customers on social media, engage with them, interact with them is where the opportunity lies. And by doing so, you're going to reach their friends and family within your localized area, and you will be able to, and the benefit ultimately you will generate sales in the form of referrals. But we always tell clients, quit selling. I mean, car dealers are notorious for it. They love to post inventory. And let's say I just bought a car from a car dealer and then I liked their page or follow them on Instagram, and they're just puking up inventory on me. That's kind of offensive. It's like, really they're just trying to sell me. So, connect with your audience. We're going to talk about the type of content that you should be pushing out. We're going to talk about specifically today on a content strategy. Most companies today are just posting because they've heard you're supposed to be posting, and they do it completely at random with no clear-cut strategy. And when you have no real clear-cut strategy, you're not going to be as effective. Would you agree?
Right. I totally agree. As a matter of fact, it's the best explanation I ever received for social media content and strategy is treat your social media platforms like a cocktail party. When you walk into a cocktail party, if you're walking around telling everybody about you and your business and your hobbies, you're not going to have a lot of people. You're not going to keep a lot of people's attention for very long. But if you walk up to people genuinely interested in them, being focused on them, asking short questions that require long answers and listening, and to your point, not puking your what, which people do all the time, instead adopting a strategy, which we're going to get into in a minute, but just being others focused. And I think Dale Carnegie said you can attract more friends becoming genuinely interested in other people in 2 days than you can in 2 months trying to get people interested in you. And that's so true, because the one thing people want to talk about more than anything is themselves. And when you ask questions and show interest and listen with compassionate and empathetic eyes and ears, people will talk for a long time. And it's amazing that impression happens when we speak, but true connection happens when we listen. And when we ask people questions about them and their hobbies and their business and their life or their likes or dislikes or what have you, the more they talk, the more connected to us they feel. So on social media, it's really the same thing. You want to be focused on the needs, wants, and desires of your audience. You want to create and ultimately publish or curate content that matters to them. And, I've said, credibility plus relatability equals opportunity on social media. And what that means is credibility first and foremost. We want people to know we know what we're talking about. We want to be credible, but relatable is, do we understand our audience? And the way we show our audience that we understand them is by creating content that genuinely matters to them, that focuses on the questions they would ask had they had the opportunity to ask us in person. And when you're getting your audience saying to themselves, well, geez, Chris is reading my mind, you're hitting the nail on the head. And we're going to get into some strategy in a minute, but I just kind of wanted to drive that point home. Just truly be others focused, be audience focused, be focused on the things that are keeping your audience up at night, the things that they're genuinely interested in, and what they would ask us as experts in the space if they had an opportunity. Whether you're an expert in as a pediatrician or as an allergist, or perhaps you own a fitness studio or a chiropractic clinic. You want to speak to the issues and the concerns that the audience has. And you can find this quite easily. All you have to do is check out some of the not so great reviews on yours or your competitors' Google Business Profile or Facebook page. You'll find countless examples of what people absolutely can't stand and what they're really looking for. So that's just a little tip. Chris, you got any more questions?
Well, I mean, I love the analogy of the cocktail party, because years ago, when I was selling primarily to the automotive industry, there was one individual, a general manager, and every time I went into the dealership, he was on Facebook, and I'm like, what is he doing? And what he was doing was not only studying it, but he was also building a massive, massive following. In 2014, here he had 40,000 fans, and which was a big number back then. It's a big number today. But we went to lunch one day, and this is when I was just getting into the digital space, because we had been selling print media for many years to the automotive sector. And we went to lunch, and I was picking his brain about social media, because here was a guy at the very top of his game. His name was Tim Barnett, and he's a legend in the automotive industry. He's just super dynamic and is successful everywhere he goes. So I was picking his brain about social media, and he said, Chris, the biggest mistake people make on social media is they try to sell. And he goes, it would be like you and I going to dinner, and I knew you were in the market for a car. And the whole time at dinner, I'm trying to sell you a car. He goes, that's not the way it would happen. He goes, we would go to dinner, we would further our relationship, have topical conversations, and then the next week you would come in and buy a car. He goes, a social media content strategy is quit selling and develop relationships and put out content that is interesting, engaging, and informative, and content that people care about. So it was interesting that I learned my first social media lesson from a car dealer.
Yeah. No, it's you're absolutely hit the nail on the head. Again, it's all about relationships. You've said it 3 times. And when you think of creating relationship online or in person, it's really no different. It's being of value, being personable, being polite. And now, in my opinion, and for all of you followers of a gentleman named Jesse Cole, it's all about being an entertainer. We're all in the entertainment business, whether you're a digital marketer or a pediatrician or an allergist or you own a fitness studio. You're in the entertainment business. To the degree that you can keep the attention of your audience, you are going to do phenomenally well. People want to be left with an indelible impression. They want an experience that's remarkable, that's memorable, that's easy to share. And when we're seeking to create relationship online, when we're seeking to create relationships specifically in social media, what we want our audience to say is we want them to come away from a TikTok stream or from an Instagram story or from a Facebook post saying, you're not going to believe what Chris and Bill are doing over at Digital Media Nation and Reputation Sensei. That start of you're not going to believe is what we want people to say. We want to leave them feeling good. We want to leave them feeling informed. We want to leave them feeling heard, validated, and seen. And when you do that, the relationship that Chris is talking about is going to happen at a totally new level. And when you put an offer or an opportunity to engage, you're going to engage at a great level as well.
Yeah. And that goes to knowing your audience. I mean, you got to know who your core audience is and what their hopes, dreams, desires, the questions that they have, the topics that interest them, really what's their biggest pain points. Knowing your audience is the first key to putting out effective content. And then, let's talk about some effective content, because we've always heard content is king, right? Well, content really isn't king. Engaging content is king. Pushing out, because anyone can push content out to your page, but getting engagement is the key, in my opinion. And engagement leads to reach, and reach equals expanding your brand.
100%. Could not agree more. Very well said. Engagement is really the result of that mind reading or perceived mind reading. And you talked about it briefly, about knowing your audience. And what does it mean to know your audience? I just did a marketing exercise with buyer personas, where I really seek to understand everything that makes a potential buyer tick. What concerns do they have? What interests do they have? What keeps them up at night? What does success look like? How goal-oriented are they? How ambitious are they? How tired are they? How starved for information and influence are they? We as marketers are in the information, inspiration, and influence business, and we have to understand not what necessarily we want or how we want to be treated, but how our customers wanted to be treated. I think I've mentioned it before. We all know the golden rule: treat others as you'd have them treat you. The platinum rule, and the platinum rule of marketing, is to treat others as they'd have you treat them. Speak in a manner that they'd have you speak to them. Use words that they use. Use a pace and a cadence that's comfortable to them. And that takes knowing your customer to a whole new level. The organizations and individuals that are right now doing the exercises that Chris and I do on a regular basis to really get inside the heads and hearts of our prospect or our fans is really the difference between speaking in a way that they respect and appreciate and not getting any engagement at all. And you can gauge your level of efficiency to how much engagement you get, because when you're hitting the nail on the head, you're getting tremendous engagement, not necessarily on the post, but in the way they share it with others. So knowing your customer is more than, am I dealing with a 25-year-old male living in the suburbs with a motorcycle and a car? I mean, that's one thing, but to really understand what they think about when they wake up, what they think about when they go to bed, how they define success, how they define worth and value, that allows you to create content strategy that speaks directly to what they're looking for. And I'll tell you something, it's never done. It's never done. You're going to be doing this for as long as you're online. And it's super, super important to getting high quality conversions, in my opinion.
So we often get asked, what social media platforms do I need to be on as a company? And our response typically is be where your customers are. Do a survey monkey and find out what social media platforms your customers are following. And that's where you should be, right? TikTok's popular right now. I mean, it's pretty amazing the companies that are able to expand their brand today with TikTok. And TikTok's one of those unique things where you can get your entire team or employees involved and make it fun. Because TikTok is about entertainment, right? So coming up with, here in the office, we brainstormed one Friday, Bill. I remember you got up at the whiteboard and said, let's come up with topics. And we wrote down like 40 different ideas. And then the team would literally go up to the board and start, marking off the ones that they did, and little skits and informational, educational, do-it-yourself tips. So whatever business you're in, you can develop a TikTok strategy. I mean, we've seen plumbers do it. We've seen locksmith do it. Stretch Zone franchises. So healthcare, it's automotive. You can have fun with it, and you can expand your brand. So TikTok is extremely effective. Of course, Facebook and Instagram, of course, are probably the most popular and probably the most easiest to monetize today.
Yeah, I love that. TikTok is kind of the new 800-pound gorilla, I guess you'd say. Relatively new platform compared to the Facebooks, Instagram, Twitters, Pinterest of the world, LinkedIn, of course. What I love about TikTok, and I'll be completely transparent, I learned this recently, is unlike Facebook and Instagram. From your son, right? Yeah, I mean, we can learn a lot. Chris and I both have, love our children very much, and we learn a lot. His children are brilliant, mine are as well, and I always say, to every person we meet is in some way our superiors. And it's amazing how much superior social media advocates and fans our 8 and 6 year olds can be. But it's the absolute truth. But what's awesome about TikTok, and it really makes it different than a lot of the other social platforms, is TikTok is built on what's called an interest graph, which means you don't have to have a connection. You don't have to be friends with someone or a LinkedIn connection with someone or follow even someone like on Instagram for them to see your content. Because if you're clever enough to understand the way an interest graph works, you can create and publish content based on specific areas of interest. So if I'm a deep sea fisherman and I'm planning a trip to Florida in a few weeks and I'm freshening myself up on techniques, strategies, baits, what have you, lures, captains, areas, sweet spots to drop a line, I can go on TikTok and literally search for deep sea fishing and find the latest, greatest, most relevant content published recently based on the amount of engagement it's getting. But I don't have to be connected to that individual. That's why someone can create a TikTok post on marketing or health and wellness or yoga practices or stretch routines or weight loss or diet or vitality or sleep, and literally within an hour have 100,000 views. That is so special, because if you're curating content, publishing content on TikTok on a regular basis, based on the interest of your audience that Chris and I just spoke about on other platforms, you can go from 0 to 60 like that. And it is literally going to supercharge your results, as Chris likes to say. So TikTok is special. Go ahead, bud.
Well, Instagram's responding with stories and reels. I mean, they're not showing off photos anymore. So if you're pushing out photos as a company on your Instagram, you're probably not reaching the news feed. You need to push out video. That's how Instagram is responding directly to TikTok by pushing out video in the form of reels or stories. So, I mean, when you scroll through Instagram today, you simply don't see the photos. You're just seeing videos. And that's a response to TikTok directly.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And it's actually exciting. You know, we love talking to our clients about social media and really establishing a relationship strategy online. Your blog is an opportunity to be credible. Your website is an opportunity to prove the claims you're making throughout the web. The email and marketing automation is an opportunity to sell and offer, one-to-one speaking or engaging in the community is an opportunity to establish authority. But really, social media, it's all about relationship, as Chris said. It's all about bonding. It's all about connection. And leaving them with the indelible impression. The strategy that Chris pioneered, which he has taught to the entire company here at Digital Media Nation, I want him to expound upon, and it's known as 3-2-1. Chris, please enlighten the audience. What is 3-2-1? Where did it come from, and why does it work?
So that's a ratio, and we believe that your content should be favored toward entertainment. So 3-2-1 stands for every single promotional post, you should have 2 educational, informative, branding, specifically about what you do. And then you should have 3 entertainment. The entertainment can pertain to your business or not. If it's like tuned into to what you do in some fashion, and that's better. But entertainment's huge. People do not go to social media to be sold, and they certainly won't share those educational or branding posts as much as the entertainment. And we've had clients fight us on this. They've said, "Oh, I don't want the entertainment," and we've seen their engagement drop, their reach drops. So we feel like the entertainment is a great way to get your name out there, to expand your brand. And quite frankly, that's the content people are going to share. So promote, educate, inform, and branding, and then entertain. And that seems to be a formula that works extremely well for us.
It doesn't only work for us, Chris. It works for everybody that we support and serve throughout all of our clients. It's something that I've seen more notes taken and more aha moments had in presentations that Chris has given to our audience of not only our clients, but vendors and prospects. And in some of the speaking and sharing that we do all throughout the country is on that 3-2-1 strategy. And the term used by me is edutainment. yes, we want to educate and inform, but we really want to entertain. And I heard a podcast recently. I encourage you all to go get it. It's on the Douglas Burdett Marketing Book podcast, and he was interviewing Jesse Cole. And Jesse Cole is the yellow tuxedo guy. He owns the Savannah Bananas. He's all about experience. He's all about client experience. He's a real a disciple of Walt Disney and P.T. Barnum. And he talks about how we're all entertainers, and attention is the currency that we work in today. We're all struggling for the same attention, the same eyeballs, the same focus. And in a digital media world, when you got to stop the scroll, we know how difficult it is. And it is disruption marketing. They're looking for something, and what Chris hit the nail on the head. The thing they're looking for more than anything is an escape. They just want to feel good. They want to laugh. They want to smile. And when they do, they remember you. And that's what reciprocity is. And it's that reciprocity that kicks in, that when you do have a compelling offer, they feel obligated to at least take a look. When you invite them to a webinar, presentation, or an event, they feel an obligation to attend. Moreover, when you make someone feel good, they want to make their social circle feel good. So that's how things get shared. So if you really don't understand or appreciate what Chris is saying about entertainment or edutainment, I encourage you to go out and go look at Jesse Cole and what he's done online and what he did down in Savannah and how he's completely changed that minor league baseball club. It's pretty compelling. So this is actually something we could talk about for hours. I think we set out to do about 10 or 15 minutes. I'm not exactly sure how long we've been on now, but I know it's been a minute longer than that. It has absolutely been our pleasure. Chris, you got any closing thoughts?
I have a recommendation too. One of the best books I've read recently is by Jeff Henderson, and it's called Know What You're For. And it's a growth strategy for work and an even better strategy for life by Jeff Henderson. Jeff Henderson now works for John Maxwell. He used to work for North Point Ministries, which is the Andy Stanley group. But he, before that, worked for Chick-fil-A in the marketing department. So his understanding of customer experience is phenomenal. But even furthermore, his understanding of social media, his kind of unique view on social media will blow your mind, because he says that as companies, every company's asking people to be fans of them. But he says, flip the script and you become fans of your fans. And what he means by that is, suppose like there's Home Depot and Lowe's, and Home Depot has a fan that's following them, and that the Home Depot sees that person is getting married, next month or next week, and they go in and congratulate that person on their marriage. Not many companies are going that deep and going into their fans' news feeds. But what does that do if to that particular person? If Home Depot goes in and says something, a specific comment or congratulations or whatever to them, in the future when that couple's married and they're going down the road and there's a Home Depot on one side and a Lowe's on the other side of the road, which one are they going to choose? They're going to be loyal to that particular company because that company has made them feel good. So I highly recommend this book. It really blew my mind. Jeff Henderson's insights on social media and customer experience are second to none. So get it, listen to it, read it. That's one of the best recommendations I have in recent times.
Wow, that's awesome. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your attention on the Sensei Playbook podcast. Remember, we're trying to turn our customers into our fans. We want to turn our fans into our future sales force. You want to create content that's easy to share and hard to forget. We're all in the entertainment business. Leave them feeling better than you found them, and they'll continue to be supportive of all your endeavors. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been the Sensei Playbook podcast. We couldn't be more grateful that you listened through to the end. Don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe. Share it with people that need to hear this message. The worst thing you can do is keep us a secret. We really want to grow. We want to serve. We got a heart to serve. We got a lot to say. Thank you very much, and hope you have a great day.
Thanks, guys.
That's all for this episode of the Sensei Playbook. May these strategies help you build a powerful business roadmap and dominate the online marketplace right now. Be sure not to miss another episode jam-packed with valuable advice from our marketing martial artists, Bill and Chris, by subscribing to the podcast at podcast.reputationsensei.com. Don't forget to share with your friends and fellow entrepreneurs who also aspire for massive business success. Thank you for listening. Until next time.